Loaded show ahead here on Ravens Rundown. Will the Ravens sign Ndamukong Suh? We'll tell you why he could end up in Baltimore coming up in just a matter of moments. Also, Keaton Mitchell suffered an injury in yesterday's dominating performance against the Detroit Lions. We got an update on him. Also, Lamar Jackson had one of the best games of his career and even caught the attention of the opposing head coach, Dan Campbell, the Detroit Lions. We'll tell you what he had to say coming up on this Victory Monday edition of Ravens Rundown. Speaking of Victory Monday, the Ravens not only get the win, now they're 5-2. Things are feeling good. Vibes are immaculate for the Baltimore Ravens right now. Spam W in that comment section. Get on with your bad self. Celebrate Victory Monday with us here on Ravens Rundown. I want to see at least 100 comments of those W's for that Ravens win. We'll get started with today's show. We begin today with the latest rumor out of London. We go across the pond for this one. The Ravens played there a couple weeks ago, and now Ndamukong Suh, who is now an NFL analyst for Sky Sports in the UK, was speaking in an interview on Sky Sports over the weekend and said that he's had some early discussions about a return to football, and in particular with the Baltimore Ravens. Said he wants to come back and help a team out, and the Ravens could potentially be said team. Listen to this from Ndamukong Suh. Last week, it was the Ravens that spoke to me, so they seem to be interested and played great today. You never know. We'll see when we get back to the States, huddle up with the wife and family, get settled, and start and keep training. Suh emphasized that he wants to play with a contender and a team that would be a schematic fit. Well, in the Ravens' case, they're definitely a contending team, 5-2, got their whole season in front of them. And as far as a fit goes, yeah, you definitely could use Ndamukong Suh, no doubt about it. So, what more did Ndamukong Suh have to say? Listen to this. Where's the right fit? Where's the right opportunity? Where can I go and add value? I just don't want to sit there and watch other guys be successful, have options. That's the key, and make decisions from there. Now, all about the Benjamins, right? The money factor when it comes to Ndamukong Suh. And like everything else, what is the ultimate dollars and cents going to be? How much can the Ravens can afford? Well, think about this. If we go back to last season, when Suh came in the middle of the year for the Philadelphia Eagles, he only played for $2 million and was a part of that team on a championship run all the way to the Super Bowl. The Ravens cap space, although it's not a ton of money right now, they can afford to pay Suh $2 million and bring him in. So if the Ravens really want Ndamukong Suh, he can be their guy, and he can be on this team. The track record is as good as any player you're going to find in free agency. A 5-time Pro Bowler, a Super Bowl champion, was a part of the All-Decades team in the 2010s. He's going to be a future Hall of Famer, a first-ballot Hall of Famer in his own right. So bringing not only just one of the best talents we've seen at the position over the years, and still something left in the tank, even if it's just a little bit, but also that championship pedigree, seeing what it takes to get the job done, that veteran presence. Ndamukong Suh would be a big asset in that sense. As far as his numbers go, of what we've seen from Ndamukong Suh over the last few seasons, last year in 8 games played, had 10 tackles, 1 sack. 2021 in 17 games played had 6 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, and 27 tackles. 2020 was 6 sacks, 11 tackles for loss. So clearly not the same player that he was even a few years ago, but not a bad option at this juncture to add a rotational piece potentially for this Ravens team. We saw it work with Kyle Van Noy and Jadeveon Clowney. Maybe Suh could be that next guy. What do you think? Should the Ravens sign Ndamukong Suh? It's our pinned comment today. Why for yes and for no? Weigh in that comment section. Tell me what you think. To the injury front we go. Keaton Mitchell was the lone Ravens player that ended up with an injury in yesterday's win over the Detroit Lions as he was making his debut. The undrafted free agent out of East Carolina turned a lot of heads in the offseason with what he was able to do in camp and within the preseason. Yesterday, we saw him get a little banged up with a hamstring injury, and it sounded like they held him out in the second half, definitely as a precautionary measure. John Harbaugh gave an update on his status, a couple things. One, he said there's an outside chance he plays against Arizona, so seems unlikely at the moment unless things really change there. The other thing that he added was that Mitchell is week to week at this point, so they'll monitor her status. Doesn't sound like it's going to be a situation where he goes on IR or PUP, that they'll keep him around, and he should be back sooner rather than later as far as that goes. So where do the Ravens go from here with Keaton Mitchell? We'll explain in just one moment. Before we do that, though, let's tell you about today's sponsor, Prize Picks. I got to tell you, I'm so glad we got Prize Picks on board here at Ravens Rundown and at Chat Sports. And to put it simply for you, in case you didn't know, Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. You choose 2 or more players, and you get an option, whether it's more or less for a certain number, whether it be receptions or receiving yards, some statistic of some sorts associated with any given player. So for me on Prize Picks this week, I jumped on Baker Mayfield hitting more than 221.5 passing yards, and that hit. So now I'm waiting to see what Kirk Cousins can do tonight on Monday Night Football with his number of more than 232.5 passing yards. Not expecting the Vikings to win against San Francisco by any means, but I think he can hit that yardage number. And then I put $20 down. I'm turning that into $60. You can do the same too. Play along with Prize Picks at prizepicks.com/CLNS. Easy, exciting, daily fantasy made easy. Use the promo code CLNS, and they're going to give you a $100 deposit match when you sign up today. Terms and conditions do apply. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. That's prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS for more. So Keaton Mitchell, the big play that he made yesterday in his debut was a 9-yard reception where he gave us just a little glimpse of something, of that agility and that movement that he brings to the table. But now, where the Ravens go from here, it seems like every single week with this Ravens team that some running back of some sorts gets hurt, whether it be for an extended period of time, like J.K. Dobbins, who's out for the year, or what we've seen with Justice Hill and Gus Edwards, who got banged up and eventually came back. Nonetheless, now you're down another running back. And I know what some of you are thinking. Hey, you like the running backs the Ravens have, and rightfully so. I get it. Gus Edwards looked really good yesterday. But for me, of why the Ravens would consider a trade before next week's deadline is not saying that Gus and Justice and those guys aren't good enough. It's a indictment on the fact that you can't stay healthy, that you need more bodies involved here. And what do you know? Eric DeCosta, John Harbaugh, you're in good luck because there's very good running backs on the market ahead of the deadline in a couple days. Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Dalvin Cook, Cordell Patterson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, a number of guys available to fill that void for this Baltimore Ravens team. We know they like to be physical when it comes to the run game. I think Derrick Henry is the one that everybody's got their eyes on potentially to make that move, but watch out. Don't sleep on the Ravens making a move at the running back position. This injury to Keaton Mitchell only makes things, I think, more likely for something to happen potentially. So, what do you think? Your chance to be the GM here on Ravens Rundown. Does Baltimore need to make a trade for a running back? Up to you. Tell me what you think. T for trade, P for pass. Weigh in that comment section. Chime in. Tell me what you think. Folks, we are covering your Baltimore Ravens each and every day. If they make a move for a running back, you know, we're going to be all over it here on the channel as we're doing daily news and rumors, breaking news, live shows, mailbags, watch parties, and more. This is the channel for the diehard Baltimore Ravens fan. We're closing in on 13,000 subscribers. Can you help us get there? Just over 200 away from that next milestone. Subscribe now for free to Ravens Rundown as we love talking about your Baltimore Ravens. If you love the Ravens as much as we do, you got to subscribe and join us here on the channel each and every day. Best part about it, doesn't cost you a thing. Absolutely 100% guaranteed free. One final note before we wrap up, Lamar Jackson was nothing short of Lamarvelous in yesterday's win against the Detroit Lions, putting together one of the best performances of his career. And it caught the attention of Detroit Lions head coach Dan Campbell, who was on the other side for Detroit and spoke glowingly of Lamar, saying this: Lamar beat us. He hammered us with his arm. He threw the ball extremely well. He ran when he needed to, and we did not handle it well. And taking that a step further, I think what we've seen from Lamar Jackson here in 2023, and yesterday was a great example of this, is the progression that we've seen of him as a passer. And it was the goal of Todd Monken, taking over as the new offensive coordinator for this Ravens team, to get Lamar not depending on his running ability so much, to really hone in on being a very good pocket quarterback. And the numbers so far this year show that Lamar is putting the work in, that he's getting the job done and playing at a high level. So far, his completion percentage after yesterday, one of the highest numbers in the league, 71%. Over 1,600 yards passing, 8 touchdowns and 3 picks. Lamar is playing at a high level in picking up this offense and really excelling. And credit to Todd Monken, who's getting the most out of his abilities. When you look at the passing chart from yesterday, as I kind of move a little bit so you guys can see the full numbers here, this is courtesy of Next Gen Stats directly from the NFL. Lamar, 21 of 27, 357 yards, 3 touchdowns yesterday, and not a whole lot of white on the screen for the incompletions. And you can see he spread it out everywhere on the field. Wasn't just to the left or the right or the short passing game or the middle range passing game. Lamar was good everywhere yesterday. So I give Lamar a ton of credit, and I think it's going to continue, that yesterday was not a fluke, and it's a sign of things that will continue to come from Lamar Jackson. A huge step in the right direction there. What do you think of Lamar's start to 2023 so far, as we're several games in at this point? I think he's done a really good job. I'd give him about an A-. Not perfect, but still a little bit of progress to be made, but certainly heading in the right direction. How would you grade Lamar's season? Let us know, and we'll see you next time right here on Ravens Rundown.